So I have a video already on YouTube that sort of focuses more on BBO, but I thought I'd talk a bit about RealBridge and analysing the hands that we're playing on that. And just before we start on that particular section, this is the Bridge Club website, and whenever you want to log into RealBridge, to a game that's being on RealBridge, you can click on this link on the left here, and it opens up this page. Just wait for it to load. And here you see the links where you can join the game. So this evening's game are the two at 7:30, the gentle duplicate or the supervised duplicate if you want to get help during the play. And we've got a couple of people to help if you do need that during the game. Just thought I'd point out a few other things on this page. It's got some information about joining the games here. Here it's got some information about these controls you can have on your screen. And this guide here is quite useful. RealBridge have been, over the last few weeks, updating the documentation. So it's now quite a good guide now. So if you haven't read this, do look through it. It shows you all what you can expect when you go to the table, how you make your bids, what you expect to see on the play, these different buttons here, how you play a card. There are some changes happening there about double clicking, I think, soon. I'm not quite sure what the latest is. And this is a useful one if you want to change your settings from detailed to simplified. That many people find that useful. And you can also change the input style to one click or 2 clicks there. And then go down further. There's information about the audio and video controls. You can look at this yourself at your leisure. And there's a picture of the director if he comes to your screen. At the bottom here, it's got a little section about the scores and the results, which we'll actually go to in a little bit. But it basically shows you the scores that you will see at the end of the game, or that you can see by clicking on the scores button while the hand is still in progress. And when you click on that, you'll see something like this. You see your scores, and you can click on the player name to see that particular scores. And then at the bottom, this is a useful section. These are the travelers, which show you the scores on each board as they're being played. So you can see as you go through the boards how everyone has done on them. And we'll look at that in a little more detail later. But another thing you can do is bring up this partnership scorecard to see how you've done. And then at the bottom, you can see this, you can bring up this thing of the bidding and play, where you can replay how the bidding and how the play went. And I'll show you how that works in a minute. One other thing I was asked recently about the playing of the boards. When you're playing on RealBridge or on BBO, everyone plays the same boards at the same time. So everyone starts off playing board 1, then board 2, and board 3, and so on. So that's different and better, you might say, than playing in the club game. Okay, so that's some information on RealBridge. Do have a look at that. One other thing you might find interesting, if I go all the way to the top, is here under Where Can I Play? They've got, if I click at trial sessions, it will come up with these taster sessions that RealBridge are running. If you want to play an 8-board free taster session at various times and days during the week. So you can click on a form if you want to join any of those. Okay, any questions on any of that? So there's quite a lot of useful information there. But if we go back to the Bridge website, what I want to do is look at a board that was played recently and look at how we can analyze it. So we're going to go back to the home, we're going to go back, assuming you're on the home page, you then would click on the calendar results page, and that will bring up the results from all the games that have been played recently. And I thought we'd look at a board from last Friday, on the 15th of January. So we'll click on that, and you can do this, of course, and you'll see the results being brought up here. Okay, so I want to show you a few different ways of getting into this. One thing you can do is click on your name or a person's name for anyone who's played in that event. And what you do when you get that is you get the scorecard for that pair's events, all their scores here, showing their percentage scores. Green is good and red is bad, if you like. If you scroll down further, it will show you an analysis of where each person played, how many times they were declarer, dummy, how many times they made the opening lead, or how many times they were defender not making the opening lead. And you can also look at the card analysis, your average points in high cards. Because someone was telling me the other day, oh, I had such rubbish hands all game, and I was able to go here and point out that they had a fairly average hand in terms of high card points. Okay, so that's something you can do every time. And then when if you want to analyze a board, what you can do is click on the actual board here. So let's look at board 4, for example, and then you can scroll down and see everyone's results on that board, what they bid and how many tricks were made, and it also shows the opening lead. Okay. Now there are a couple of other things on Bridgewebs, in other words, on the Pinner Bridge website, that you may not be aware of. One thing is that when you're bringing up the hands like this, if you put your cursor over a particular hand, it comes up with this yellow pop-up window that sort of analyzes the hand. And I just thought I'd try and explain what that is trying to tell you. So it's saying, if I put that there, it's saying that this hand has 18 high card points, that it has what's called one length point, which is a point for a 5-card suit, and a point for what shortage, which is a point for a doubleton. In fact, this information is all on a Bridgewebs page here. Here's a Bridgewebs page where they describe these different features and what they mean. And they're basically, these are terms that some people use to help evaluate their hand. And you may use some of them. Some of them are not particularly useful. There's something here called number of controls, where an ace is like, I think 2 controls, a king is 1, and something called quick tricks, which is like combinations of aces and kings, things like that. Those are not particularly fashionable, I would say, ways of evaluating your hand, but they are there, so some people may find that useful. One thing I do think is quite useful is the very last one. It talks about 5 losers, and on every hand it will show you how many losers you have according to the losing trick count, and that is a method of evaluating your hand when you're playing in a trump suit. So that uses the method of counting your losers that we're familiar with, if you've been to my lessons, of looking at the ace, king, queen as winners, and ace, king, queen as winners, and everything else as a loser in the top 3 cards. So this hand has got 1 spade, 1 heart, 2 diamonds, and a club, 5 losers. And you can look at the other hands too, but this is a 9 loser hand in a similar way. So that is quite a useful feature, and because sometimes we use the losing trick count as an additional way of evaluating your hand once you've agreed on a trump suit. So that's something you may find useful. And then once you have this board up here, there are a couple of different things you can do here. You can click on it a particular way here using one of these play links to see how it was actually played. And you can also click on it here using this play it again link, which actually has some additional options. So let's bring that one up to start with. I'll click on play it again. And the first time you click on that, you may need to say, click one of these options, and you should select BS Online, Bridge Solver Online. And that will bring up an analysis of the board here. And what it's showing you with these boxes in the right-hand corner is what the makeable contracts are against best possible play and best possible defense. So it's saying that, for example, East-West can make 4 hearts, whereas North-South can make 1 club or 1 diamond. Those are the makeable contracts, or these are the contracts in spades and no trump. And one thing you may not have noticed here in the left-hand corner, first of all, it's got the optimum contract. So for the optimum contract for East-West is actually not hearts, but is 630. It's 3 no trump plus 1. And then this little line here is actually a reference to the law of total tricks. Now, the law of total tricks is a topic, actually, I'm going to be covering it Friday, tomorrow afternoon. I've covered it before. It's basically an analysis of the hand that compares the hand being played in 2 ways. So, in other words, this hand could be played by East-West in a heart contract, or it might conceivably be played in North-South, either in a club contract or in a diamond contract, because North-South have got an 8-card fit in either suit. And what it's actually saying here is comparing the number of total trumps that the 2 sides have together compared with the number of total tricks that they have. And this 17 here is, so the number of trumps is saying that East-West have got a 9-card trump fit, North-South have got an 8-card trump fit, so 9 and 8 is 17. And then it's comparing that to the total tricks that can be made. East-West can make 4 hearts, or 10 tricks if you like, and North-South can make 1 club or 1 diamond, or 7 tricks if you like. So that 7 plus the 10 is the number of trumps. So it's the number of tricks. So it's comparing, on every hand you'll see this, and it will actually show you whether the law of total tricks is correct or not. The law of total tricks says that it's normally the same, but it's sometimes off by 1. And you can look at a hand and actually see if that's true or not on any particular hand you played. So you may not have noticed that, but you may find that of interest. What else can we do on here? Well, down here we can click here on results analysis. And I don't know if you've ever brought this up, but this contains a lot of analysis that you can look at. You can look at your personal analysis, and here it's showing you your percentage score on all the boards, and it's broken down by your role, either declarer or defender. You can look at the different roles and your percentage score, and obviously the green scores are good scores and the red scores are bad scores. And here it also does what is called the analysis of how many tricks you made compared with how many you might have made. So red is obviously made 1 fewer trick, or green is made more tricks. There's more to look at here. This is quite interesting. If you click on board, it will actually show you the summary for this board 4, and it's got a little explanation here that you got 67%. The score was 4 hearts by West, making 9 tricks, 1 off, and that was 1 fewer than the double dummy analysis. There were 2 higher scores and 5 lower scores. So you can actually look at every board like this yourself, and you may find that information useful or not. Okay? Any comments on that? So that's available on any hand that's on Bridgewebs. Another thing you can do, instead of clicking on the link here, is to click on one of these play links, and that will show you a record of how the hand was actually played. So if we bring that up, it's a similar display, or almost identical, but it's got this additional link up here which shows how the hand was actually played. So if I click on that, it will show how this pair actually played it in 4 hearts. That's how they bid it, and it will show you how it was played. And at any point, Bridgewebs or Bridge Solver Online software is telling you what the best card to lead is at any point. So here it's saying that North is on lead against 4 hearts, and that the best cards for North to lead are one of these green ones, which will lead to 3 tricks. That's what that 3 means for the defence. If they lead anything else, it might only lead to 2 tricks for the defence. And this blue asterisk by the ace shows what was actually played. And if you want to go ahead and play it that way, you click on these arrows and it will show how it was actually played, that they played, that's what they played. Now here it's showing that after that, North now switched to the 4 of clubs, which again was a good lead from their point of view. And again, you can see what was actually played, and at any point. So here there's a slight difference here between what was actually played and what was the best play, because you can see South has got that blue asterisk on the ace, which means they played the ace, whereas of course they could have played the queen there to make one possible more trick. Okay, so that helped the defense. So you can always replay this and see if at any point your play diverged from the optimum, which I'm sure it will. It's one of those things. Anyone have any questions on any of that so far?
Tony?
Yeah.
Can you just explain what that 18, 8, 5 and 9 are again in the bottom left?
Oh, this is just the high card points.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's just the four hands and how many high card points they have. Yeah. Okay. Anything else, anyone? There's help here if you want. It will sort of explain what you should do if you want to replay that. And you can also change the play. So if you decide that you want to play a different card, you can play it and then see, and then you have to replay the cards to see how it goes at any point. Okay, so that's quite useful, and that's these options for the play thing are available both whether the board was played on BBO or on RealBridge. The other thing you can do for a hand that was played on RealBridge is click on this RealBridge link up here, and that will bring up a results screen very similar to what you would see when you're actually playing online. You don't actually have to log in for this, but it's just bringing up a very similar screen with the results from that session. So let's just wait for that to come up. And here you can see something very similar to what we saw on the screen, where you can look at your particular results. You don't have to have played to come in here. You can just look at the particular results. And then at the bottom here, you've got a list of the travellers. So you can click on any particular person's name here and see, for example, this how they did on every board. Very similar to what we were seeing on the Bridge website itself. Or if we go back here, we can click on one of the travellers. And here, for example, is the traveller for board 4, and you can see all the times it was played and the score that was made. And if you want to replay one of these, what you do is you click here on the contract. So I'm clicking here on 4 Hearts by West, and this will again allow you to replay the board. So it shows here the bidding, and then you can click on the right arrow to show how it was actually played. So you can look at this and see if you did the right thing. What this doesn't show is what the what the right card is to play. It just shows the play, but it doesn't do any analysis of what the best card to lead is. So if you want to do that, you're best to look at it on the Bridgewebs website rather than on RealBridge. Okay, so this kind of replaying analysis is there, although it's fairly basic and it's not as good as what you get on BBO, for example. It's one of the things that BBO is better at because you've got it's got more analysis of the hands to guide you as to what the best thing is. But you can at least replay the hands and see what happened on each board. Okay. So, anyone have any comments or questions on that? So, when you're playing a board, when you're playing on RealBridge, at the end of the round, you can click on results, and you'll see a screen like this. It'll only be partly populated, as only a few boards have been played. But you can go in and click on that and see how you're doing. So we'll start off with just the first few boards as you go, and gradually you can it will fill up. Okay, so you may find that useful, and it's sort of another way to analyze your hand. When you finish here looking at the results on RealBridge, then you just close that tab. Okay, so that was it really. That was all I wanted to talk about. Did anyone have any questions about any of that?
Hi, Tony, it's Wally here.
Hello.
Can I just ask a question which derived from the problem that Sue and I had last Thursday when we were trying to do an undo?
Oh, yes.
Not because Sue had actually played anything incorrectly, but because she was trying to expand the image size on her iPad.
Okay.
And somehow it brought up a pass bid, which she didn't want to,
right.
to do. But in terms of, if you like, the etiquette of playing in the supervised section,
yeah.
How should we treat the ability to do an undo? Should it be only when you've got like a semi-technical problem, or when you can see immediately you've pulled the wrong card? Or
yes, yeah. So undos are meant to be for technical problems, for accidentally clicking the wrong card. Yeah. And you may well find, I'm just going to find this section on the settings. You may well find that if you change it to simplified cards, that may help. And you can also change the input style to 2 taps, so you have to verify. It's slightly tedious, but it will prevent undos. But undos are only really meant to be for misclicks and not really meant to be for change of mind. So as long as it's a misclick, then you should ask for an undo. And if you ask for an undo and the opponents can't or don't know how to grant it, then call the director, and we'll try and sort it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And just going back to the RealBridge demo you showed.
Yeah.
It reminded me of some of the pianola functionalities which we used last year. Is it broadly similar, but without needing the pianola login?
Yes, I think it is. I mean, I think they have added very similar functionality to what you used to have a pianola account for in order to analyze it. I think the pianola graphics are a little bit nicer, but I think a lot of the same functionality is here. So do have a look at it. I mean, the big advantage with playing online is that it has a complete record of your play.
Well, indeed, yeah.
which you don't have. So I think it's invaluable for if you want to see where you went wrong, you'll be able to find out what happened. So I think it's a great thing that we don't have, of course, when we're playing face to face.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, anyone? So if that's it, we'll end the session there, and the sessions have now opened up. So if you want to go to the Bridge website, that's where you'll find the link to join the appropriate game there. Okay, and I'll hopefully see you all online in a little while.